I texted my parents, "My graduation's on Saturday. Hope you can make it." My sister replied. I stared at my phone for a long moment before finally pressing send. "My graduation is on Saturday. Hope you can make it." It was a simple message, polite, hopeful, almost childish in its innocence. But my hands were shaking when I typed it, because deep down, I already knew the answer. My parents had never really shown up for me. Not for school plays, not for birthdays, not for the times I was sick or scared or desperately needed their support. But graduation was different. Graduation was supposed to matter. Graduation was the moment every child imagined their parents cheering for them, smiling proudly, maybe even crying. So I allowed myself to hope. For about 3 minutes. Because 3 minutes later, the first reply came, not from my parents, but from my sister Emma. "They won't make it. Don't get your hopes up." No explanation. No apology. Not even a softening emoji. Just a blunt punch to the chest. I stared at her message, my heart dropping somewhere between anger and numbness. I typed, erased, typed again, then finally responded. "Did you even ask them?" Her reply came instantly, almost like she had been waiting for me to question it. "They said you should understand. You know how busy they are." Busy. Of course. My entire childhood could be summarized with that one word. Busy when I won awards. Busy when I was bullied. Busy when I needed help with school. Busy when I learned to ride a bike alone. Busy during my first heartbreak. Busy, busy, always busy. But always magically free when it came to my sister. Emma, the golden child. Emma, the princess. Emma, the one they described as our pride and joy. Emma, the one they said deserved the best. And me? I was the one who shouldn't expect too much. I locked my phone and sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the graduation gown hanging from the closet door. I had earned that gown. Every late-night study session, every sacrificed weekend, every job shift squeezed between classes just to pay my tuition. My parents didn't help. They didn't even ask if I needed anything. Yet still, I wanted them there. Pathetic, right? As evening crept in, I tried focusing on my speech, on ironing my gown, on mentally preparing for the biggest day of my life. But my mind kept replaying Emma's message. The sharpness, the finality, the almost mocking tone. At 8:14 p.m., my phone buzzed again. This time it was my mother. For a moment, hope sparked again. Stupid, fragile hope. But when I opened the message, that spark died. "We can't come. Something came up. You'll be fine. You'll be fine." That's what you say to someone when you can't attend a birthday party. Not when you're missing their graduation, the one they fought for entirely on their own. I waited for a second message, maybe a voice note, maybe a sorry, maybe anything that suggested they cared even a little. Nothing. An hour later, Dad finally texted too. "We're busy. Congratulations." That was it. 12 years of school. 4 years of college. Hundreds of nights studying until dawn. And all I got was "we're busy. Congratulations." I tossed my phone aside and sat in silence. But silence was worse than any insult. Silence was where all the memories crawled back, the childhood moments I tried to bury. Dad refusing to attend my 6th grade science fair because Emma had a dance rehearsal. Mom telling me not to make a big deal out of my birthday because Emma needed a new phone. Them grounding me for breaking a glass, while Emma crashed a car and got a hug and reassurance that accidents happen. Even last year, when I told them I had earned a scholarship, Dad's exact response was, "Good. It means we don't have to pay anything for you. Not we're proud of you. Not you earned it." Just relief that I wasn't a burden. So why was I surprised now? I shouldn't have been. But I was. Because deep down, some part of every child believes their parents will eventually show up. The night before graduation, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I should pretend nothing was wrong. Should I smile? Should I act like I didn't care? Should I take photos alone? Should I avoid everyone so no one would ask the dreaded question? "Where are your parents?" At 3 a.m., my phone buzzed again. A message from Emma. "Don't embarrass yourself tomorrow by looking for them. They aren't coming." This time it wasn't blunt. It was cruel. It was intentional. It was almost gleeful. I read the message again and again, trying to understand what kind of sister took pleasure in reminding her sibling that their own parents didn't want to be present. I didn't reply. I turned off my phone and placed it face down, forcing myself to sleep. But even sleep didn't bring peace. I kept dreaming of empty chairs, of faces turning to watch graduates hug their families, of me standing alone in a sea of celebration, clapping quietly for myself while everyone else cheered with someone by their side. The next morning, when I put on my graduation gown, something inside me shifted. Not brokenness, not sadness, something colder. A realization. A seed. That their absence wasn't my shame. It was theirs. And one day, sooner than they thought, they would feel the weight of what they had thrown away. As I walked out the door to my ceremony, a new thought formed in my head, sharp and steady. This time, I wasn't going to let it slide. This time, I wasn't going to forgive quietly. This time, they would regret it. And I had no idea then that Emma had one more message waiting for me. A message that would start everything. And end everything. I stared at my sister's message for so long that the screen dimmed twice. They're already busy. No explanation. No apology. Just a cold, sharp reminder of where I stood in this family. Nowhere. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't want to, but because I knew exactly what would happen if I asked for details. Either silence or blame. Always blame. So I focused on my graduation. I ironed my gown, polished my shoes, and put my phone face down so I wouldn't check it every 3 minutes. I kept imagining them showing up last minute, waving at me from the crowd, smiling proudly. But that hope was the kind that hurts. Saturday came. I walked into the venue alone. Everyone else had a crowd, moms holding bouquets, dads taking pictures, siblings screaming their names. And then there was me, walking to the check-in table like a visitor at my own life. When they called my name on stage, the room felt huge and empty at the same time. I scanned the audience only once. I shouldn't have, but I did. No familiar faces. No parents. No sister. Just strangers applauding a stranger. I held my diploma and forced a smile, but it felt like paper was heavier than the last 4 years combined. After the ceremony, I sat on a bench by the fountain outside, watching families take pictures. A mother was adjusting her son's cap while the father bragged loudly about how proud he was. That scene, something so normal, burned more than anything. My phone buzzed. "Mom, we're having dinner tonight. Come home by 7. We need to talk." No congratulations. No question about how it went. No acknowledgement that they didn't come. Still, I went. A part of me was desperate for them to say something. Anything to show they cared. Maybe they had a real reason. Maybe this was the moment things changed. I walked in at 6:59. They were already seated at the dining table. But the atmosphere was wrong. Too quiet. Too stiff. My sister sat with her arms crossed, eyes averted like she didn't want to be part of this. Dad didn't waste time. So he said, "We talked about your future. We think you shouldn't go ahead with that job in Chicago." My stomach tightened. "Why?" Mom sighed dramatically. "You know your sister is getting married soon. We need you here. There are things to help with. Family matters." I almost laughed. "You skipped my graduation, but now you need me?" Dad's expression hardened. "Don't talk back." "I'm not," I said quietly. "I'm just asking why my life only matters when you want something." Mom snapped. "Because your sister actually gives to this family. You just exist." My sister didn't defend me. She didn't even look up. The air went cold in my lungs. "So that's what this dinner is? To tell me what I owe you?" Mom glared. "Don't twist things. We raised you, fed you, paid for your schooling." "No," I cut in. "I earned scholarships for 90% of it. You both know that." Dad slammed his hand on the table. "Listen, you're not going anywhere. You will stay here and help." It wasn't a request. It was a command. Something snapped inside me. Years of being the afterthought. The backup plan. The person they remembered only when they needed a favor. "No," I said calmly. "I already signed the contract. I'm leaving in 2 weeks." Finally, my sister looked at me, fear in her eyes. Dad stood up, red with anger. If you walk out that door to live your selfish dreams, don't come back. Mom's voice followed, icy and sharp. Honestly, sometimes we wish you were never born. The room went silent. My chest tightened so hard it physically hurt. For a second, I couldn't breathe. Not because of the words, but because of the tone. They meant it. They truly meant it. I swallowed, once, twice. Then I grabbed my keys. Dad yelled after me. Mom shouted my name. My sister called stop, but didn't move. I didn't stop. I drove without thinking, without direction, letting the city blur around me. Their voices echoed in my head like poison. We wish you were never born. By the time I parked outside my apartment, my hands were shaking. I unlocked my door, walked inside, and let the silence wrap around me. Then I picked up my phone. My voice was calm. Too calm. I typed a message. Just one sentence before pressing send. Me. Thank you for everything. I'll make sure you never have to worry about me again. Little did they know, I meant every word. And what I did next would change all of our lives forever. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was sad, but because something in me had finally awakened. A calmness I had never felt before. A clarity so sharp it almost scared me. Their words didn't break me. They freed me. For the first time, I saw my parents exactly as they were, not as the people they were supposed to be. Not the people I kept trying to earn love from. Just people who would never see me unless I was useful. So when morning came, I brewed coffee, opened my laptop, and started planning. Not planning revenge. Planning my life without them. But life has a strange sense of timing. At noon, I received another message. This time from my sister. Sister, can we talk? Just us. Please. Against my better judgment, I agreed. She arrived 30 minutes later, eyes puffy like she'd cried all night. She stepped inside carefully, almost afraid. I didn't know, she said immediately. I didn't know they'd say something like that. I didn't reply. She sat down on the edge of my couch. I'm not defending them, but they've been stressed. The wedding, the money, Dad's job. Sarah, I cut her off. They chose not to come to my graduation. She flinched. They chose, I repeated. And last night? They weren't stressed. They were honest. She looked down. You're leaving. Yes. But Chicago's far. I know. Her eyes filled again. So that's it? You're just walking away from the family. Did you hear what they said to me? She hesitated, then whispered, yes. I waited. But she didn't say anything else. No defense. No outrage. No, I'm on your side. And that was my answer. You want something, I said. She froze. Her silence was confirmation enough. What is it? She swallowed hard. Mom asked me to convince you to stay. She said, if you leave, the relatives will talk. They don't want a scene before the wedding. I laughed. A single bitter sound. They're worried about their image. She nodded slowly. I stood up. I'm done being the problem they hide. Please don't go, she whispered. The wedding will fall apart. I turned to her. Then let it. She didn't expect that. She stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. Are you really this cold now? No, I said. I was always warm. You all just kept stepping on the flame. She had no reply. She left quietly, closing the door without looking back. But the moment she walked out, a sense of peace washed over me. The quiet wasn't lonely anymore. It was mine. 2 days passed. Then the real storm began. At 7:18 p.m., my phone exploded with notifications. Calls. Messages. Missed calls. More messages. All from relatives. All saying the same thing. What did you do? Your parents are furious. You're causing drama. Fix this before the wedding is ruined. I didn't even know what they meant until a cousin sent a screenshot. My parents had told everyone that. I abandoned the family. I was running away with no warning. I refused to help with my sister's wedding out of jealousy. And the best one. I told them I never wanted to be part of the family. They flipped the entire story. I laughed again, but this time, it wasn't bitter. It was the laugh of someone who had finally stopped caring what liars thought. Still, The boldness of their lies lit something inside me. Not rage. Not sadness. Just a sense of finality. I picked up my phone and typed, "Me, add me to the family group chat. I'll clear it up myself." My cousin added me instantly. The chat was chaos. Dozens of messages criticizing me, defending my parents, calling me selfish. I typed slowly, calmly, "Me. Since my parents left out the details, let me share them. They skipped my graduation. Not because of an emergency, but because they had errands. Then they told me they wished I was never born." Silence. Then the typing bubbles exploded. "Uncle, your dad would never say that." "Aunt, stop lying." I sent the audio recording. Yes, I had recorded the dinner. Not for revenge. Just for myself, because I wanted to remember their exact words so I'd never fall for apologies again. The chat went dead. Then one message popped up. "Grandma, is this real?" I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Within minutes, the group chat split. Some were horrified. Some blamed my parents. Some blamed me. Some tried to downplay everything. But the damage was done. My parents left the group. My sister left too. And I sat back on my couch, exhaled, and felt, finally, free. That night, I took the final step. Something simple. Something symbolic. I packed the last box in my apartment. My lease was ending in 5 days. Chicago was waiting. My new job was waiting. My new life was waiting. I taped the box, labeled it, and sat on the floor surrounded by silence. Then I opened my phone and wrote the last message I would ever send to them. "Me. I'm not running away. I'm moving forward. Don't contact me again. If you ever decide to apologize, not for me, but for yourselves, you know how to reach me." I blocked them all after sending it. No tears. No shaking hands. Just a calm, steady heartbeat. Because the truth is, losing people who never valued you isn't a loss. It's liberation. But what I didn't know was that my parents were not going to let me disappear quietly. Their next move would drag everything into the light and force me to take revenge I never planned on taking.